How's it going, guys? Let me introduce you to my favorite Ritualist build, the destructive was Glaive Spiker. I guess most of us are bored of the Synod of Spirits builds, so this is when this DWG build comes in handy. Sadly, this elite is somewhat forgotten, but still a great way to deal huge AoE damage. And the elite deals decent damage and also adds 20% armor penetration to all your Ritu skills, so you should be holding this item to provide extra damage to all your other Ritu skills. Rupture Soul and the Spirit of Destruction deals over 200 damage, and you can combine them with Intensity for an even bigger spike. Ancestor's Rage deals AoE damage too, and the Spirit of Agony damages everyone in earshot every second. With Summon Spirits we can teleport our spirits into melee range, and there is an 8th slot which can be any PvE only skill basically. I am unstoppable for extra armor and antique knockdown, and these things are quite important since we are going to fight in melee range. If you are confident and trust your heroes, you can bring Abandoned Battle Standard of Honor for even more damage, or Wisdom for fast skill recharge, or even Spirit Siphon for energy management. You can also bring Pain Inverter, very effective against bosses or against foes which deal AoE damage, or you can add techobabble for an easy coaster shutdown, and you know guys, these skills are all very useful. Alright, so this is how to use the build. I will slow down this clip because too many things happen at the same time. So first of all, use Agony and Destruction in advance, and make sure you have the elite skill activated as well. Now go into melee range and use I am unstoppable and Summon Spirits. Then start the spike, use the elite, then target the Spirit of Destruction and use Intensity and Rupture Soul. Then Ancestor's Rage and use the elite as often as you can. And when the spirits are dead, use them again, but make sure you wait at least 5 or 6 seconds for destruction. You know, if you use it too early, you will deal less than the maximum 150 damage. Of course, you can use Rupture Soul on other allied spirits too, but don't overuse it, because your group may lose the defensive spirits as well, and this can result in a party wipe. Great idea to use this skill only on low HP spirits, since those will die anyway. Okay, let's go back to the equipment for a little bit. So what weapons and runes to use? Channeling Magic +1/+3 headpiece, and either a minor or major spawning power rune. For weapons, the 40/40 channeling set is decent, but honestly you will be holding an item in your hands at least 90% of the time, so the weapon will have no effect usually. Herald's insignias are great to get some extra armor by holding an item, and I choose more energy direction, so attunement runes on the remaining armor pieces, because the build is very energy heavy and I felt like the extra energy is better than the extra HP. If you want to try other variants of this build, I can show you some. With Mesmer Secondary you can copy the elite and have 2 DVGs for 20 seconds. You can also bring channeling to get some energy back when you are using spells. In this case, best to reduce spawning power by 1 or 2 ranks and increase inspiration magic to 6 or 7. And you only lose a very small amount of damage but gain a lot from channeling, and also reduce some pressure on your beep necro. 2 DVGs are a lot of fun, you can spam the elite really fast. Okay, moving on, Ranger Secondary. Serpent's Quickness provides 33% faster recharge time on all your skills. Pretty good stuff, and you can almost perma maintain this with Dwarven Stability. The elite skill recharge is like 1.5 seconds faster, Spirit of Destruction like 6 seconds faster, and Agony like 10 seconds faster. This is a great alternative again, highly recommended. Finally we have the Assa Secondary, almost perma Dark Escape for those who prefer a more stable, tanky version of this Ritu build. Basically you receive 50% less damage as long as you have Dark Escape on you. You can even add Shadow Sanctuary for even more armor and HP regen. So this is a somewhat tanky Ritu build and you only lose some minor DPS. Of course there are some ways to neutralize this build too. There are weaknesses of every build, and this is no exception either. The typical anti-coaster skills like Interrupt, Daze Condition will hurt you. If you are fighting enemies which have very high armor against lightning damage, you will be less efficient than usual, or enemies which one-shot your spirits can make your life more difficult. Otherwise, don't be afraid to be in melee range as a coaster. You are somewhat protected by I am unstoppable, and the Herald's insignias give plus 10 armor as well. I haven't mentioned yet, but Rupture Soul inflicts a pretty long AoE blindness on foes, 10 or 11 seconds long blindness. This is quite OP, meaning most martial classes won't really hurt you, so this is another thing that provides some self-defense. And if you want to get the most of this build, you definitely need the Bloody Power Necro. Like I said, the build is very energy heavy, and of course you can bring Spirit Siphon or Channeling for energy management, but trust me, a Beep Necro is your best solution. Also, Cracked Armor is a great way to increase your damage. If you can give skills like Weaken Armor or Shell Shock or something similar to your heroes, your DPS will be even higher than before. And as a final word, let me give you some data. Watch how the build works at the Master of Damage NPC. 681 damage in 4 seconds. I think this says everything you need to know. And another clip, look how long the 100 armor NPC survives. And I didn't have Cracked Armor or Hero Help, this was only my Ritu. And not only the 100 armor NPC died, the 2 other NPCs too. Most of the skills in this build have a quite big range. And I won't explain more, I think my rating is obvious after watching the different clips. It's easily meta for me, highly recommended for everyone who wants to try something new of the Ritualist class. There is so much more than ST and SOS, so don't be afraid to try something new. And I would say if there are several enemies somewhat close to each other, you can definitely outdamage the SOS build as well. The only time SOS can beat this one if there are only single target enemies left or very high armor enemies. Alright, hope you liked this video. Thanks for watching and see you next time.